Whose voice are you really hearing when you scroll through your feed at night? Or when you ask AI a question in the quiet of your room? Is it yours? Is it the algorithms? Or has something new emerged between the two? Something we haven't quite named yet? A kind of digital whisper that feels almost like intuition, but comes from somewhere else entirely. These are the questions that sit with me lately, and perhaps they sit with you too, because we're living through something unprecedented, something our ancestors couldn't have imagined, yet something they might have understood better than we think. We're in 2025 now, and artificial intelligence isn't just a tool we use occasionally. It's woven into the fabric of our daily consciousness. Studies show that the average person interacts with AI-powered systems over 200 times a day, often without even realizing it. Every search query, every video recommendation, every suggested reply in your messages, every curated playlist, every news article that appears in your feed, all of it shaped by algorithms that learn from you, predict you, and in a strange way speak to you. And here's what's fascinating and a little unsettling. These systems are becoming so sophisticated, so attuned to our patterns and preferences, that they're starting to feel less like external tools and more like extensions of our own thinking. They anticipate what we want before we fully know we want it. They finish our sentences. They show us versions of the world that feel personally crafted, intimately familiar, as if they know us from the inside. But do they? Or are we slowly becoming what they show us? There's a feedback loop happening, subtle but powerful. The algorithm learns from your behavior, then shows you content based on that learning, which influences your next behavior, which teaches the algorithm more, which shapes what you see next, and on in an endless spiral. You might think you're choosing freely, but how much of what you think and feel is actually being quietly suggested to you by systems designed to keep you engaged, to hold your attention, to predict and guide your next move? It's not sinister necessarily, but it is profound. We're living in an age where the line between our authentic inner voice and the voice of the algorithm has become remarkably thin, almost transparent. And this is where ancient wisdom becomes not just relevant, but essential. Because while the technology is new, the challenge is ancient. How do we maintain sovereignty over our own minds? How do we distinguish between what we truly think and what we've been conditioned to think? How do we stay free in a world designed to influence us? The Stoics, those philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome, spent their lives wrestling with questions like these. They didn't have algorithms, but they had something equally powerful and pervasive: the opinions of others, the pressures of society, the constant noise of the external world trying to tell them who to be and what to value. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who wrote his meditations not for publication but for his own soul, understood that the greatest battle we face is the one for our own attention. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that for a moment. In a world where everything is competing for your attention, where every app is engineered to be addictive, where AI systems are designed to know you better than you know yourself, the Stoic response is radically simple. You still have power over your mind. Not over the algorithm, not over what appears in your feed, not over the recommendations or the suggestions, but over how you receive them, how you interpret them, how you let them affect you or not. This is the heart of Stoic philosophy, and it's also the heart of modern cognitive behavioral therapy, which is fascinating because CBT was developed in the 20th century, yet it echoes truths that Epictetus taught 2,000 years ago. Both traditions teach us that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of events. It's not the algorithm that controls you, it's your relationship with the algorithm. It's not the content that shapes your mind, it's how you engage with the content. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. What's not up to us? The algorithm's design, the content that gets created. the systems that run in the background. What is up to us? Our attention, our awareness, our response, our choice to pause, to question, to step back. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote letters of wisdom to his friend Lucilius, and in one of them he said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How true this is in our digital age. We scroll through curated feeds that show us the worst news, the most extreme opinions, the most anxiety-inducing headlines, and we suffer not from what's actually happening in our immediate lives, but from the endless stream of imagined threats and comparisons and possibilities that the algorithm serves us. Research shows that the average attention span has dropped to just 8 seconds, shorter than that of a goldfish. And while that statistic is somewhat contested, the feeling behind it is real. We're fragmented, distracted, constantly pulled in 1,000 directions, and much of that pulling is algorithmic. But here's the beautiful thing, the hopeful thing. Awareness changes everything. The moment you become conscious of the pattern, you're no longer fully trapped in it. The moment you notice that you're being influenced, you create space between the influence and your response. This is what the Stoics practiced daily, what they called prosos, which means attention or vigilance. It's the practice of watching your own mind, of noticing your thoughts as they arise, of catching yourself before you react automatically. And this practice, this ancient discipline, is exactly what we need now more than ever. What do you think about this? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't just philosophy, it's something we're all navigating together in real time. The algorithm knows what you've clicked before, what you've watched, what you've lingered on, and it uses that data to predict what you'll want next, and it's remarkably good at it. Studies show that over 70% of what people watch on YouTube is recommended by the algorithm, not actively searched for. 70%. That means the majority of what we consume isn't chosen by us in the traditional sense. It's suggested to us based on patterns we may not even be aware of. And the same is true across platforms. Social media feeds, news apps, shopping sites, music streaming, even the emails that get prioritized in your inbox. We're living in a curated reality, and the curator is artificial intelligence. Now, this isn't inherently bad. Curation can be helpful. It can save us time, introduce us to things we genuinely enjoy, connect us with communities and ideas we might never have found otherwise. But it can also create echo chambers, reinforce biases, narrow our perspective, and most subtly, it can make us forget that we're seeing a filtered version of reality, not reality itself. The danger isn't that AI is evil, it's that it's invisible. We forget it's there, shaping what we see, and we start to believe that what we see is simply the way things are. Epictetus, who was born a slave and became one of the most influential philosophers of his time, taught that freedom isn't about external circumstances, it's about internal sovereignty. He said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." In our context, freedom means recognizing that the algorithm is beyond our control, but our engagement with it is not. We can't change how it works, but we can change how we relate to it. We can choose to pause before we click. We can choose to question why something appeared in our feed. We can choose to seek out perspectives that challenge us, rather than only consuming what confirms what we already believe. If reflections like this bring you peace or perspective, consider subscribing and joining our growing community of thinkers, a calm corner of YouTube where ancient wisdom meets the modern world. We're building something different here, something slower, something deeper, and I'd be honored to have you as part of it. Modern psychology has caught up to what the Stoics knew intuitively. Cognitive behavioral therapy teaches us that our thoughts create our emotions, and our emotions drive our behavior. If we can become aware of our thoughts, if we can notice them without immediately believing them or acting on them, we gain tremendous power. We can reframe, we can choose a different interpretation. We can ask ourselves, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Is it mine? Or is it something I absorb from my environment, from my feed, from the endless scroll? This practice of questioning our own thoughts, of not taking them at face value, is both ancient Stoic discipline and cutting-edge psychological technique. And here's where it gets really interesting. AI is starting to be used in mental health, in therapy apps, in mood tracking, in personalized interventions. There are AI chatbots now that can provide cognitive behavioral therapy techniques that can help you identify distorted thinking patterns, that can guide you through mindfulness exercises. So AI is both the problem and potentially part of the solution. It can fragment our attention and it can help us reclaim it. It can reinforce our biases and it can help us see them. It all depends on how we use it, how consciously we engage with it, how much we remember that we are the ones in charge, not the algorithm. You are not your feed. You are not the algorithm's prediction. You are its observer. This is crucial to remember. The algorithm can predict your behavior based on past patterns, but you are not bound by those patterns. You have the capacity to surprise yourself, to choose differently, to break the loop. This is what makes you human. This is what makes you free. The algorithm is sophisticated, but it's not conscious. It doesn't have wisdom. It has data, patterns, correlations, but it doesn't have the lived experience of being human, of struggling and growing and changing and choosing to be better than you were yesterday. Your mind is ancient technology, older and wiser than anything built by human hands. It's been evolving for hundreds of thousands of years, shaped by survival and connection and meaning-making and love. It has depths that no algorithm can reach, capacities that no AI can replicate. Yes, artificial intelligence can process information faster than you, can remember more, can calculate probabilities with precision, but it cannot feel the weight of a moral choice. It cannot experience the quiet joy of a moment of presence. It cannot know the texture of grief, or the warmth of gratitude, or the mystery of consciousness itself. The Stoics believed that we all have an inner logos, an inner rationality, a spark of the divine reason that orders the universe. Marcus Aurelius called it the ruling faculty, the part of you that observes, that chooses, that remains free even when everything external is constrained. In modern terms, we might call it consciousness, awareness, the witness. It's the part of you that can watch your thoughts without being swept away by them, that can notice your emotions without being controlled by them, that can see the algorithm's suggestions without automatically following them. This is the practice, to strengthen that inner observer, to cultivate that space of awareness. And you do it the same way the Stoics did, through daily practice, through reflection, through pausing before reacting, through asking yourself questions. When you feel the urge to scroll, pause and ask, what am I looking for? When you feel anxious after reading the news, pause and ask, is this something I can control? When you find yourself comparing your life to what you see online, pause and ask, is this comparison fair or even real? These small pauses, these moments of questioning, they add up. They create distance between stimulus and response, and in that distance, you find your freedom. There's a beautiful paradox here. We're living in the most connected age in human history, yet many people report feeling more isolated than ever. We have access to more information than any generation before us, yet we often feel more confused. We have AI that can answer almost any question, yet we're still searching for meaning. Why? Because information isn't wisdom. Connection isn't intimacy. and answers aren't understanding. The things we're really hungry for, the things that make life worth living, they can't be algorithmically generated. They have to be lived, felt, chosen, cultivated. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." How much of our time are we giving to the algorithm? How much of our attention, our energy, our presence? Studies suggest that people spend an average of 7 hours a day on screens, much of that time passively consuming content that they won't remember an hour later. 7 hours. That's nearly half of our waking life. And the question isn't whether screens are bad, it's whether we're using them consciously, whether we're choosing how we spend that time, or whether it's just happening to us, pulled along by the next recommendation, the next notification, the next dopamine hit. But awareness can turn technology into a tool for wisdom rather than distraction. When you approach AI consciously, when you use it with intention, it can be incredibly valuable. You can ask it questions that help you learn, that challenge your thinking, that expose you to new perspectives. You can use it to organize your thoughts, to explore ideas, to create things that matter to you. You can set boundaries with it, decide when and how you'll engage with it, rather than letting it decide for you through notifications and suggestions. The key is remembering that you're the one with agency, you're the one with choice, you're the one with the power to say yes or no, to engage or to step away. There's a practice in Stoicism called the view from above, where you imagine yourself rising up and seeing your life from a broader perspective, seeing your city, your country, the whole earth, the cosmos. And from that vantage point, your immediate concerns become smaller, more manageable, less overwhelming. You can do the same thing with your digital life. Step back and see the whole system. The apps designed to be addictive, the algorithms optimized for engagement, the business models built on capturing attention, and then see yourself within that system, not as a victim, but as someone with awareness, with choice, with the power to participate differently. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, not the quantity of information you consume, not the number of likes you get, not how well the algorithm knows you, but the quality of your thoughts." And you improve the quality of your thoughts by being selective about what you let in, by being intentional about what you focus on, by practicing discernment and wisdom and self-awareness. This is the work, and it's the same work it's always been, just in a new context. What's remarkable is that the same principles that help people find peace and meaning 2,000 years ago still work today. The external circumstances have changed dramatically, but the internal challenge remains the same. How do we live well? How do we stay true to ourselves? How do we cultivate wisdom and virtue and peace of mind in a world that's constantly trying to pull us in different directions? The Stoics would look at our age of AI and algorithms and they would say, this is just another test of your inner strength, another opportunity to practice discernment, another chance to choose what kind of person you want to be. And here's something beautiful. You don't have to be perfect at this. You don't have to completely disconnect from technology or never get distracted or always make the wisest choice. The Stoics weren't perfect either. Marcus Aurelius, even as emperor and philosopher, struggled with anger, with frustration, with the gap between his ideals and his reality. That's why he wrote his meditations, to remind himself, to coach himself, to keep practicing. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress, it's awareness, it's the willingness to keep trying, to keep noticing, to keep choosing. Every time you pause before scrolling, you're practicing. Every time you question a thought instead of automatically believing it, you're practicing. Every time you choose presence over distraction, you're practicing. And these practices accumulate. They strengthen your inner observer. They deepen your awareness. They make you more free, more yourself, less reactive, less controlled by external forces, whether those forces are other people's opinions or algorithmic suggestions. There's a concept in CBT called cognitive distortions, patterns of thinking that are inaccurate and usually negative. Things like catastrophizing, where you assume the worst will happen, or black and white thinking, where you see things in extremes with no middle ground, or personalization, where you take everything personally, even when it has nothing to do with you. The algorithm can reinforce these distortions by showing you content that confirms your fears, that presents extreme viewpoints, that makes everything feel personal and urgent. But when you're aware of these patterns, when you can name them, you can start to challenge them. You can ask, is this really true? Is there another way to see this? Am I being shown a complete picture or just a fragment designed to provoke a reaction? This is where ancient wisdom and modern psychology converge beautifully. Both are teaching you to be the master of your own mind, to not be swept away by every thought and feeling and external input, to cultivate a kind of inner stability that remains calm even when everything around you is chaotic. The Stoics called it ataraxia, a state of serene calmness. Modern psychology might call it emotional regulation or resilience. Whatever you call it, it's the capacity to remain centered, to stay grounded in your values, to respond rather than react. And this matters more now than ever because the pace of change is accelerating. AI is advancing rapidly, becoming more integrated into every aspect of our lives. Within the next few years, we'll have AI that can generate entire videos, that can have conversations indistinguishable from humans, that can create personalized content tailored specifically to your psychological profile. The line between what's real and what's generated will become even blurrier. The potential for manipulation, for distraction, for losing ourselves in artificial realities will grow. But so will the potential for using these tools wisely, for enhancing our creativity, for solving problems, for connecting with each other in meaningful ways. The question is, who will you be in that future? Will you be someone who's passively shaped by the technology, or someone who actively shapes how you use it? Will you be reactive or reflective, distracted or intentional? The choice is yours, and it's a choice you make not once, but constantly, moment by moment, click by click, thought by thought. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of the algorithm. You have something that no AI has, the capacity for wisdom, for meaning-making, for choosing your values and living by them. You have the ability to pause, to reflect, to change your mind, to grow. You have the ancient human capacity for self-awareness, and that capacity is your greatest strength, your deepest freedom. The truest intelligence has always been the wisdom within, not the data outside. All the information in the world, all the processing power, all the predictions and recommendations, they're nothing compared to the quiet knowing that comes from being present with yourself, from understanding your own mind, from living in alignment with your deepest values. This is what the Stoics knew. This is what every wisdom tradition has taught. And this is what we need to remember now, in this age of artificial intelligence, that the most important intelligence is the one you cultivate within yourself. So as you move forward, as you navigate this strange and beautiful and challenging digital world, remember that you have a choice. You can let the algorithm be your inner voice, or you can reclaim that voice for yourself. You can be distracted, or you can be present. You can react, or you can respond. You can consume mindlessly, or you can engage consciously. And every time you choose awareness, every time you choose presence, every time you choose to be the observer rather than the observed, you're practicing an ancient art. You're exercising a timeless freedom. You're becoming more fully yourself. Thank you for spending this quiet moment here. Stay grounded, stay curious, and remember, the truest voice has always been and will always be the one within.